Hey, hey. All right, guys, welcome back. This is going to be a shadow message. Just know these are the ones where I intentionally am like maybe digging at something that could be not as much of a fun, lighthearted energy, but it's with the intention of bringing something from the shadow into the light. So I'm just going to ask the simple question: what is it right now that is under the surface that needs to be brought up? Okay, the question of why is somebody not moving forward? We have the chariot in the reverse. This can also represent an imbalance. So the chariot Cancerian energy, there's emotions involved, but instead of the emotions being like, okay, I know how I feel, and that is allowing me to move forward, what this says is that we have a character who is either not sure about how they feel, so they're not moving forward, or they're not moving forward because they're not even aware of what the problem may be underneath. Okay, so we have a six of swords and we have the two of cups in the reverse. I think this is a situation where if the thing that needs to be brought into the light, the thing that's under the surface, it hasn't been seen wholeheartedly, is like, wait a minute, somebody's not moving forward because, in fact, in this case, this could be complicated, but somebody else already moved on. And now that is making a person say, well, then this isn't a two of cups. This was a false twin flame. But I feel as if a character, please remember these are fictional stories about fictional characters, but I feel as if this is suggesting that maybe somebody is saying, I haven't considered this, but maybe it's been tough for me to acknowledge it somewhere in the back of my mind. I've decided this was a false twin flame because they already moved on. So, wait a minute. Should I still be feeling some kind of way about them? Maybe it's a character who just hasn't put their finger on that yet. It feels like they've been in a place of almost confusion. Okay, so present moment combined with the Nine of Cups. I have to say, wherever a character has been, living in their present, they held on to maybe like a happy illusion. This could be somebody that was like, oh no, that's my two of cups, we'll be together again. And that thought has kept them happy. But at the same time, it's perhaps why they haven't met somebody new is because they kept telling themselves, oh no, so look at this. I'm going to be really happy with them. It's like somebody told themselves a fantasy of, I've met my two of cups. I'm going to be, happy with them someday, even if I'm not right now. When in fact, it looks like this person isn't with their two of cups, but they're telling themselves, oh yeah, but that's my happiness. That's coming back. And that actually has been like a happy little buzz thinking about it that way. But it makes it so that in their present moment, they keep saying that. We have the Emperor upright and we have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. They have not changed their opinion about anything, even in the face of different facts. So it still is like, oh no, that's my Emperor. I know that's. I mean, there's a lot to be said for love that somebody says, oh, I know, totally have faith in this. We made promises to each other. We'll be able to do this. We'll be together. Versus saying, I don't care what they say. I don't care that they've left. I'm still going to tell myself, you are my happiness. You are going to be my emperor. You are what I will have. And I'm going to be happy with you, even if I have to lie to myself to insist it. You notice how there has been no new beginning, though. So I feel like this is a situation where characters that are actually apart are continuously saying, well, this one character is saying, yes, but I'm going to be happy with you. This is somebody who's not accepting the idea. This could be an emperor. This could be a divine masculine saying, doesn't matter. You're the person I want to be happy with. That may be a complete illusion. And it's preventing them from actually moving forward and meeting somebody else, or it's preventing them from moving forward in life and acknowledging, wait a minute, but my person isn't here with me. Maybe they actually aren't my person. Maybe I decided something, but I forgot to get their consent, right? Um, Tell me a little bit just about this. Actually, let's change decks here. Tell me about the Six of Swords with that Two of Cups. King of Wands in the reverse and the Star in the reverse. This literally says, I don't believe that you are my person. I don't want to heal things. I've moved on. I don't desire you to come forward and try to heal things with me. I've moved on. It's interesting how this, whomever this is, and they could be an Aquarius, but they don't feel the same way anymore about this. They don't want the emperor who's insisting, I'm going to be your emperor. The other person says, no, you're a King of Wands in the reverse. You're egotistical. You decide how you think it's going to be, but I do not agree. I have no need. This is not my wish fulfillment to reunite. I'm actually done with this. You know, it does feel like we have a character who is not acknowledging that it is over. And perhaps it is because their ego is in the way. It's like, well, of course it's not over. Oh, whatever. We'll always be together again at some point in time. I just know it. It doesn't look like that's the case. Tell me just about that Chariot in the reverse. We have a Nine of Wands, we have the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Nine of Pentacles. It kind of feels to me like their time would be more wisely spent right now doing the same thing that the other character has been doing. So if she has been mending, she has been improving, she has been trying to, become a happy, healthy, single version of herself, they probably should be doing the same. But instead, they're sitting here insisting, no, I'm going to be with you still. The lack of movement forward, and really it's a good thing that somebody hasn't met a new person yet, because they really need to use this time to heal themselves. So I feel like we have the story of two people who have separated ways on not great terms. One of them, and I don't read for gender, so it is irrelevant, but one of them has done more self-work. One of them has said, oh, it totally hurt my heart because I think that you were super selfish and it's why I've moved on. But trust me, it hurt me too. Maybe it didn't hurt me to walk away, but I've been, working on myself. I've been, getting myself pretty organized here, and I'm better now. So I don't want to hear from my ex. I don't care if they want to pop up later on and still insist that we're going to be together. I don't want that, because I believed it wasn't really a great union after all. And I've really worked on myself and gotten over some of that hurt. This is exactly what I'm going to say this emperor person should have done as well. Now, bear in mind, this could be a feminine who is insisting, no, you're going to be my emperor. And they're over here saying, no, I'm not. I don't, you brought out the worst in me. I'm working on that part of myself. We were not good together. I don't want to be in this union. And it could be a feminine who's still kind of insisting, oh, yes, we'll be together again. Right now, that's just not the way the story played out because of the cards. It says that it's possibly the emperor or someone who fancies themselves the emperor telling themselves, oh no, I'm still going to be with you. And it's the feminine saying, no, we're not going to be together. I don't want this anymore. So there should be some healing that is like being looked at and taking place right now. But it's hard to look at healing if we won't accept, first off, like maybe why are these two not together in the first place, right? This first character won't acknowledge we're not together for a reason. They just keep saying, oh, it doesn't matter. You're still my happiness and we're going to have this. That won't allow any change or any growth because they're still insisting it's going to be the way I said it's going to be. It's going to be happy like I said it's going to be. But the whole point is, and the thing is like glaring at them is, but we're not together right now for a reason. What is it that went wrong? They're saying, huh, nothing. Oh, nothing. We're just not together, but we will be, and it'll be happy. Okay, with that attitude, you're never going to do any of the work that needs to happen, though, to maybe have a chance at revising this connection. I mean, granted, you can't have a do-over if the other person doesn't want it anyway. But this person is rejecting, like, basically reality in favor of how they want it to be, which is kind of arrogant. I don't care. I want it my way. It's going to make me happy. Well, that's just not the way that works. Knight of Wands in the reverse. They haven't yet, I feel like this person is in a kind of like a happy rut. They're not actually thinking about like new thoughts, new inspiration. They really aren't. King of Wands upright, Four of Pentacles. They only see things their way. No matter what, I'm a wonderful, loving King of Wands. That's it. Nope. Nope. I refuse to see myself in any other light. I'm a wonderful, loving King of Wands. I'm going to be this person's emperor. I'm awesome. Okay. Remember, she said, no, they weren't awesome. They were a King of Wands in the reverse. They very much, they think that they do no wrong. They think that their way is the way it is, and that's how it's going to be. This person has to entertain the idea that perhaps they need to make some changes. Look, even if this person really does love, and they likely do, they really love someone, they might have loved somebody according to their agenda, instead of realizing, especially when we love someone, we want to pay attention to them and say, okay, what makes them them? I love the essence of who they are, and they have an independent mind and spirit, and the way they want to be loved and the way they want to be treated is something I need to honor to show them that I love them and that I love them as an independent individual. Instead of saying, oh, I love you, therefore I'm going to love you the way I love people, which could have come across as very, well, she said, very selfish. I think this person only has one mechanism, like their language of love is how it's going to be, even if that's not her language of love, or, whatever genders. That is one of the things that made a mess of this. Even though we could still say, but this person does actually have love, but they still won't open up their eyes to the fact that loving somebody and then really seeing them as an individual and respecting their differences and their wants and their needs, and taking the time to try to comprehend who this other person is. That's the other part of showing love to someone, is like, and I just don't think that they were cognizant of that, or they were too stubborn, but they're like, but I didn't do anything wrong. I loved them. That's how I show love. Yes, but that's not the way this other person wanted it to feel. They could have been like, well, I make wonderful decisions for you. Okay, that's not pleasing the other individual. It's like, look, I don't need you to organize my life. I don't need you to micromanage me as a human. If you love me, you're going to support my identity and my own choices. And I feel like this character, they could have, I'll use an extreme example. This is like somebody who goes, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a car for you that I think you should drive because you'll look great driving this. Okay, I don't know about anybody else, but I am very particular about what kind of cars. I'm 6 feet tall. I do not want a car that feels uncomfortable. I don't like low riders. I like way up high. There's a lot of things that go into, what's the visibility for me. I like, it's as personal as trying to buy myself a pair of shoes that are going to fit. I have to pick it. But if somebody goes out and it's a wonderful gesture, right? Oh my God, you just bought me a car. How could I possibly say, but I don't want it? Because now it seems so rude. But here's the thing, it's a little high-handed to go out and buy a car for somebody, say, this is what you need. There you go. I figured it all out for you. When the person is kind of like, I wish you had consulted with me about it. I mean, it's such a beautiful gesture, but There are so many things. Like, you bought me a little teeny tiny sports car when what I needed was a dirty old pickup truck. It was so nice of you to give me a car. And now it's so awkward because how do I say without me looking like the jerk, I didn't want that. I wish you hadn't. It's such an awkward energy because it seems so rude to reject this amazing gift. On the other hand, it's a little rude on their part to have assumed so much and taken such liberty. But they're like, "What do you mean? I gave you a sports car. I gave you an amazing gift." And they don't see how maybe it could have been a little bit too, again, high-handed. Those are the kinds of things that are making this feel like it's not an equal connection, because it's one person goes, "It's my way, I see it through my lens." And even if you say, "I don't like this, I don't want this," nope, doesn't matter, I'm happy with you, you'll be mine. That kind of energy is just not working. And if in this time apart, it is actually giving characters space to do some self development, and they're still not using that time for self development, they just keep thinking, "Oh, but we're going to be together again. It's going to be great. We're going to be together again. Going to be happy. We're going to be together again. We're going to be so happy." Instead of saying, "Wait a minute, why did we part ways?" That's the thing that needs to be brought to light. Why are we apart? So, will there be any of that? And let me just ask the universe. Universe, if we could distill this down into like one message, I think it's the high-handed energy and the lack of like ability for these two characters to maybe even converse about it. But let me just say, if what is the ultimate reason these two are currently apart? Okay, we have the strength card, and it did come out kind of sideways, but still mostly upright. Sorry, she doesn't have a top on, so I got to cover her just a little, give her a little tube top. Um, there's I almost feel like instead of saying, "Oh, the strength card is about courage and power," I almost feel like there was a power struggle that went on, and that is ultimately the issue here. There was a power struggle, perhaps. So, what needs to change? Six of Cups. It needs to get into balance. They need to realize that, sometimes you've got the answer, sometimes I've got the answer. It's never all of one person's like, "Hey, I'm the teacher and you're the student. Now let me teach you how it is." Six of Cups is that, we flow together. Um, Sometimes I'm the teacher, sometimes I'm the student. We're probably going to swap roles sometimes. But I really think that if these two could look at it like, "Okay, I am really glad I met you because you're showing me some stuff I didn't know about myself. And maybe I'm a bit too high handed." And the other person's like, "And you're showing me that maybe I needed to find a way to express myself a little bit better about, like, hey, boundaries, boundaries. You can't just tell me how it's going to be. I don't want someone who seems so high handed." So I don't really think that there are villains in this story. I just think that these are the things that haven't been seen because, again, it's under the guise of, "Well, but I love you. So how could I have said or done something wrong?" With the Five of Wands, if these two could really chit chat about stuff, hash it out, look at things through a different lens and say, "Huh, was that too high handed? I'm sorry. You know, instead of, I mean, if there was a desire for these two to still be together anyway, instead of like walking away saying, "Oh, whatever, you're just so selfish, or it's always all about you. Even the gifts you give is always just about you, how it's going to be, what I have to accept." What if instead our character had said, "Hey, listen, we gotta work some stuff out here. Like, we gotta find a way to understand each other better." That, would have been a work in progress. These two could have hashed things out. They could help each other. This actually says there's still a really good potential, should they want it, to at least awaken to their highest selves, which will help them both to communicate better. And honestly, these two could eventually have had a really happy marriage. They are strong, and it's like one person who was overwhelming met somebody else who wasn't having any of it. But could these two potentially have been good together? Yes, they could, but they would have to kind of like find their voices and do the work together. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. There's actually a lot of hope here, and that was an interesting one. Take care. Thanks for being here.